Did you get the notification? What? Yeah.
We go with your meeting back in session. Minutes from last meeting, any additions or corrections? Yeah, those are two separate. Motion. Second. All support? Aye. Against? Treasurer's report.
Okay, as of end of September, total balance of all funds was $10,716,000 roughly, which was 6.5% increase over a year ago. The general fund was a big increase. It was like $2,355,000 on September, which was a 38.5% increase over last year. Road department, the overall balance is $2,156,123, which was 10% increase over last year. Total balance of all funds as of today was $11,088,171. To the best of my knowledge, we're not anticipating any FEMA revenue still. And as far as sales tax revenues go, in September, we were down 2.5%. 1% sales and use tax, we brought in $147,796. It was $151,500 last year. On jail maintenance, we brought in $53,475. It was a little over $54,000 last year. Jail on tax, $106,951. It was a little over $109,000 last year. Year to date, 1% sales and use tax was up 37.25%. We brought in $1,229,755. And of course, that's reflected in the quarterly percent of maintenance, another 0.5% sale bond. All that, I have a typo it looks like on the report, but they're all at 37.4%.
Yes, sir.
I have a comment for the court. A few days ago, I was interested, mostly tutorial reading, if the account, if the money's collected for the same monies that were dispersed. I contacted the treasurer's office with a report from the collector. Turns out they were not the same. And I'd like for either the treasurer or Ms. Knowles to address that, so the court to be aware of why they were not the same and how they were.
I'm not probably in the details about it, but just kind of overall, we discovered that the distributor amounts were inflated by a certain percentage. It was a multiplier that was in the worksheet that has been used for years. And so we continue to use that for the first few months. And once we got familiar with just the procedures in general, we started looking. And as long as we're short, we have changed with this multiplier. We talked to treasurers, we talked to auditors, come up with a new worksheet. And where do you have one?
When we took office through the year, we had several fire departments reach out to us asking why their funds were starting at negative balances. And we, we didn't have answer right off the bat, but I have since, acquired the final tax settlement finder that's got all of the final tax settlement information in it. And basically, I'm using fire departments as an example, basically, they were being overpaid money throughout the year, so they were having to pay this money back at the end of the year. Well, and I brought up some worksheets to Mr. Reed a second ago that's showing what the old worksheet for real estate taxes look like. And it had that multiplier on it, and, like Suzanne said, we reached out to other treasurers, and they were confused on why there was a multiplier, and I wanna say starting May taxes is when we started using this new spreadsheet. It should all be an even amount thing, there shouldn't be any money, extra money added on, so, if you guys want to keep some copies of anything, you guys tomorrow, or if you start up there, it should even out, and we're hoping to see it even out in the final tax.
For the record, that multiplier was 0.72%. That was added to what was collected for disbursement purposes. And that's been correct.
It has been correct.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Sheriff's report.
There's not really anything to add other than, I would like to say that we're maintaining right around 40 inmates in the jail facility. Our cost average per meal is around $1.31, and we have been in contact with one of the meal providers, and we hope to get that back down to around that $1.10. We have 38 total arrests for the month, and we had 191 calls for service. Total mileage that the deputies, we all drove was 20,926. Used approximately 144 gallons of fuel, and the average miles per gallon is about 14.49 miles per gallon. We conducted 22 interviews, and misdemeanor cases, we opened 2 and closed 2, I believe. One thing that we have been working on, the cost of fuel has gone up, as y'all know, when you buy fuel. And our bulk fuel went from $3.89 to this last that we bought was $3.98. They started the TriStar, I don't know where the county is their fuel at, but they started charging us $100 a month to come and check that young tank out to make sure we're in compliance with EPA. And which I'm very disgruntled about that, and bucking just a little bit on whether I'm not wanting to pay it, but we may need to pay it. We're searching other avenues to get fuel, and Mark had contacted Fleet credit card company, and we're in the process of looking at a Fleet card where we don't have fuel at the gas station or at the sheriff's office any longer, we use a credit card. And they have said that if we will sign up with them, that the cost of fuel will be somewhere around that $3.70 mark. Right now, I mean, it's gonna fluctuate, but it's running almost 40 cents cheaper a gallon if we go with these 2. And that's a Fleet fuel card, is that the name of it? Right Express. So we checked on that. Also, another thing that we've got scheduled for the 26th day of October, we've got people from the Association of Counties coming up to do a driving program. And all of us that, sheriff's office or county affiliated, all of us that take place in that, it'll save the county money on our police liability. So we're working it, I'm sorry. Yes. And then that's, it's gonna be held at, Jim Gaston Center at Bull Shoals on the 26th day of October. And all county employees that wanna come, they can come, I mean, we send it out to everybody. But we're trying to save the county a little money there. Thank you.
Any questions for the sheriff? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question for the sheriff, I have a question in regards to the 911 report.
Okay.
This was in the minutes, and there wasn't an answer, so I'm just asking it again, the in and out transaction, total was $9,015. Kind of like, okay,
Did I?
Sure.
This is Mrs. Ann Roberts. She's the 911 Marion County Coordinator.
In and out, I did, I didn't get it, it may have gone to my, okay. The in and outs are transactions that was used, as in, maybe, physical or like this. And it's also what they send us to the county. So that's what that shows. Can you write that down? I can, without having to start,
Go ahead.
without having to do it manually. No, I have to do it. It's not that. Thank you.
Any other questions for any report that have been submitted? All right, planning commission. Thank you, sir. Budget committee.
We had a meeting on the 27th, and the notes from the meeting are in our packets.
Motion to accept the budget committee. Get a second. Second. All support?
Aye.
Against? I don't believe we had a personnel committee meeting. Law enforcement community solid waste. We should be not. Whole business. Yes, sir.
We've got two ordinances in front of us for the old business section. I'll make a motion to add these to the agenda.
All right. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Both are added to the agenda.
All in favor on each read by name.
Aye.
For the purpose of constructing buildings and houses and taking water and production equipment, which is used by the Marion County Rescue, Emergency Rescue, 911, Florida, Arkansas, County Commission, and West Virginia.
Motion.
Any discussion? Justice Sherlock?
I'm having a question because I'm looking at my data and it's not sequenced the schedule, the new business. This will save thousands. Oh, okay, right here. Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Baker?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hudson?
Yes.
Justice Chipman? Justice Britton?
What ordinance number was that? Thank you.
For the purpose of federal audit funds in the amount of $40,000.
Motion. Second. I have a question or
Yes,
comment.
sir.
Last month, I started that motion table so I could look at that email, and I did find where a company recommended that we put back $10,000, like a auditing company, and then I did find in that other, like, 100-page document that I was emailed, where it requires that we pay for the first basic audit. Essentially, I don't know the terminology they use, but then if the federal government wanted to look into it further, they would finance the rest of the audits. So I did read those two things. The only part that I didn't read is whether or not we were allowed to use the money that they gave us to pay for the audit of how we spent the money that they gave us. The only part I didn't find, but my learned experiences tell me that if we can't, then the worst that's gonna happen to us is we have to pay it back, which we're gonna have to pay for anyway, so I'm good with it now.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Baker?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hudson? Excuse me, Justice Chipman? Justice Brigham? Justice Britton?
Yes.
Um, 2023-104, amending the operating budget, as appropriate funds from 2,000 county road fund, 2,000 county road fund vehicles, in the amount of $7,370.
Motion.
Second.
Justice Baker?
Still looking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Page 35.
Yeah, I've got just a quick question on it. Is there a,
Yes, sir.
sorry, I just, could you like, maybe give like a brief description of why you want stuff before we vote? Like just, I wasn't at the budget committee stuff, so I wasn't there for that discussion.
It's just the vehicle that was sold to the auction.
We're putting the money, saving it.
We're taking the money out of the fund, putting it back into the fund where that vehicle came from.
And you have a plan for it?
Will be it in the future.
That's all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the next one, Justice White? Ordinance 2022-105. We are amending the annual operating budget 1998 to transfer funds from the other revenue replacement fund to the fire department to the operation fire department fund for reimbursement of payments made. In the amount of $30,261.31.
Motion.
Second.
Justice White?
Yes.
Trustee Claybrook.
Budget for emergency help, Office of Emergency Management, in the amount of $698.12.
For the purpose of, you said it was field lot, it's in the state.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. I asked this at the budget meeting, why, and I was hoping the OEM director would be here tonight, why he paid out of his own checking account for meals and lodging at a seminar, when he had money in his budget of $2,439.80.
And he paid out of his OEM fund to go to the seminar, but because he's the OEM, he gets reimbursed by the state. Like they pay him back for going, he has to pay for it upfront, and then we get reimbursed because of his position when he works in. So we've got to check back to cover it, we're supposed to check from the county general back into his meals and lodging. Yes, ma'am.
But according to this, the $698 came out of county general. But the $698 is going into Office of Emergency Management. So if the original came out of county general, it should go back into county general.
Okay, so the check he originally paid with the OEM credit card to go down. He gets reimbursed by the state, which is this check. On the second page is a treasurer's receipt where we put the reimbursement into county general. We have to put it in a fund. So we put it into county general and we're putting it back into meal and lodging because that is where the receipts were taken from. So it's not essentially, I mean, yes, it was in county general because that's where the reimbursement went for the check. Jim signed the check to be put back into the fund because we get reimbursed by the state.
Question? Is that the OEM budget out of county general I think it's
Yes, it is.
500,
Yes,
because it doesn't have the detail. It says 1,000 county general.
yes, because what had happened is he used the OEM card, paid for things up front, got that all squared away. When he went down there, they said, we're going to reimburse you. And instead of giving the county back the check, they wrote the check to him personally. He brought the check in, signed it over, put it back in county general. We're asking for it to be put back in that line item so we can pay the credit card bill where that was paid from.
I may just be having a blonde moment, but it looks to me like the money is coming out of, so the check that he signed over to us, which is attached, went into county general.
Yes.
This ordinance doesn't read like that.
Okay, the OEM, his fund is under county general as a whole. So we put it under county general because his whole line, like his whole fund is 1,000-0500. That's county general. Unappropriated county general, we're putting it back into a county general fund. So that's why we put it into county general unappropriated.
Yes, sir.
The 1,500 is the OEM budget within county general.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay, that's what's confusing. They didn't specify the OEM detail budget, that's where it's going back into. County general is a whole array of different funds. So,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Sounds like we're getting our money back, and I'm happy about that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But, why would they write, the OEM personal check with,
How they do it.
Some of the offices, they do that. We don't know why. Sometimes of them, they will pay the person directly,
yeah,
and then
that's,
some of them
that's
will pay the county, so
We
I
don't
don't
like
know.
that. That's the biggest red flag out of this whole deal. I really don't even care about the rest. But he used the county card, and they wrote him a personal check.
Right.
That is a huge red flag. We should, yeah, we should check into that and say something or something. That's setting him up for failure. If he loses that check or something,
Oh, yeah.
And then- yeah, that's a hazard for him or for anyone who's put in that situation. They shouldn't be put in that position.
Yes.
Mrs. Hutchins? Yes. Mrs. Shipman? Yes. Mrs. Lincoln? Yes. Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes.
Mrs. Ventura?
Yes.
Mrs. White? Ordinance 2023-107, transferring unappropriated funds from the American Rescue Fund to ARPA Revenue Replacement Fund in the total amount of $20,000 for expenses that were paid in 2023 for actual expenses incurred in 2022. That's for the 911 fund.
Motion.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
So, what exactly we spent money last year, we did a cleanup ordinance like a couple months ago, but this was missed.
Yeah, that was mixed.
And
We
so,
have the original ordinance with it for last year.
okay, so
That was never moved.
we're using the American Rescue money to go to reimburse back into ARPA.
It zeroes it out basically, because that was the fund that, did the upgrades to the old sheriff's office building.
Okay, I'm just checking to make sure that the money that we're replacing was ARPA money originally.
Yes.
Like, we didn't spend county money and then we're taking from ARPA to replace it. This
No.
is the same.
You have the original ordinance from last December. That should be right behind it. Page 41.
Okay, so it came from American Rescue.
Correct.
Okay,
It was never moved.
all right, thank you.
Justice Hutchins?
Yes.
Justice Shipman? Yes. Justice Burgess? Yes. Justice Sherman?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Ventura?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Ordinance 23-108. And transfer appropriate funds for the emphasis case bill payment from the Marion County Library in the amount of $1,099.33.
Questions? Sure. Is this a clerical error and now the money was used from the wrong account? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. No second, I'm sorry.
We don't have a motion yet.
Okay,
Okay,
take
I'm
it back.
sorry. Second. Yes, so that is second.
Huh? No, when we got, yeah, We paid it from the wrong fund.
So I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, ordinance number 23-109. To prepare for money for unappropriated funds for expenses that were paid in 2022, as well as expenses incurred in 2022. In the sales, 1800 sales tax law enforcement, and the amount of $2,371.65.
Motion. Yes, sir.
We're taking 23 money to pay 2022 bill,
Correct.
so that the carryover for that department would be reduced accordingly.
No, y'all, it had already been done that way, we're fixing it there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, there's 11 weeks left in this year, I believe, I count. 11 weeks, something like that. How much longer are we gonna have to be paying off 2022 bills, you know, in 2023?
I wish I could give you a great answer to that, but we can find it to take care of it. Yes, ma'am.
Well, along those same lines, do we have any idea how much carryover we have in 22, into 23?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
We're sitting here in October, 10 months later paying last year's bill. That all the unpaid bills should have been resolved right there in the clerk's office or the controller's office, and that would have been the money to appropriate. But we're 10 months later,
I believe it was paid, we just paid,
doesn't look like it from here.
I think it was paid long, I don't think it's a bill that's still outstanding. I think it's just money back when it's due. Yes, ma'am.
I believe that is, in that ordinance, they left it 300 off, so that is correct.
So there was an error in the computing of carryover outstanding amount.
What it was when we initially put in that large amount to correct that,
Yes, sir.
that particular one, that was brought to my attention afterwards, that wasn't included in the initial, so it was,
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Justice Shipman? Yes. Justice Brigham? Yes. Justice Scrima?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hudson? Ordinance 23-110. A check for the matching rural community grant program is received for the Open Common Fire Protection District in Marion County for the amount of $15,000. This appropriation is for the purchase of a new water hose replacement sewer pump and associated expenses.
Motion.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice Scrima?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed? Justice Hudson? Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Scrima?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren? Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hudson? Justice Shipman? Justice Brigham? Yes.
ordinance 2023-112, the ordinance appropriate, amend the limited compensation to the assessor's office, allow the raising from $2 each for each employee. And that's within the amount of $4,822.64.
No, I guess.
I just out of curiosity, do you have like a, are you implementing like a step program or is it your intention to get the raise? Well,
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Baker,
yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchins. Justice Shipman. Justice Brigham. Yes. Justice Sherman.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-113. Marion County Clerk to reimburse the state in the amount of $215.50 to be appropriated back into my meals and lodging line items, and also transfers from elections. Somebody to clean up some negative balances in the amount of $33.86, and then appropriate some more money out of my child support for $150 for the local.
Second.
Justice Ventura,
Yes.
Justice White, Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Patrick, Justice Shipman, Justice Brigham, Justice Sherman,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-114. This ordinance appropriate funds for the election commissioners to be paid a per hourly rate for performing election staff outside of public meeting or training and other related matters.
Second.
Yes.
I got quite a few problems with this. I'm gonna keep it blunt, so please forgive me if it doesn't sound right to me, because this ordinance doesn't give a political appointee permission to walk in and scream at the top of his lungs at, the budget committee, which he did. It doesn't give him the right to say the things he said about the court. It falls back on the fact that, Republicans took over the election commission in 2015. I was the chairman. From 2015 to 2016, no election commissioners got an hourly wage until the end of November 2016, when one election commissioner put in payroll to be paid. She got paid. The next year, she was chairman of the election commission, and all three election commissioners took an hourly wage. Didn't tell nobody, and that happened all the way to 2022. In 2022, the Democrats got mad because one of the other Republicans and one of the other people was getting a lot more money than him. Turned out to one got $3,800 in overtime. He only got $800 for it. He went and talked to the county judge, county court, prosecuting attorney, and was told they could get the money back, but that was a hard thing for him, so he went to the budget committee. At the time, I wasn't a member of the budget committee, I was sitting up there, and he told the budget committee his overtime wasn't fair. I went to the county judge, and I told the county judge what I've heard, and I told him the truth, that this is not, they've been taking the money, they never asked for the money, it's not legally their money, and now we're being told in this ordinance that not only we have to pay them a lot more money, when we're not required to, that if we don't pay them, we might not have fair and organized elections. My problem is the Republican committee here in Marion County. The people that were involved with this were previous chairmen of the Marion County Republicans and future chairman of the Marion County Republicans. The positions that are not elected, they are the Republicans and Democrats to put in place that we have no control over. And they're allowed to come in and scream so loud they can be heard in the parking lot screaming at us. This is not allowed. And I don't expect to get an apology from anybody. But I expect the Republican Party better start straightening up and start sending out an apology, apologizing for the people getting the money that they shouldn't have got money for. Allow their people, these political appointees, to think they can walk in and scream at us. That's wrong. And I would like to have a written letter from either the county prosecuting attorney or the county judge explaining critically why we didn't proceed to get the money from the other of 2017 to 2021. So we understand why that money is still out there and why we didn't go after it. This whole ordinance is based on untruth. That we turned down the money, that we need to pay them, that we're required to pay them. We pay them exactly what we're supposed to get paid, we always have. It's a shame that it took 2 years for the Republican Party of Marion County to lose control of the people they put in so they go on an hourly wage. Thank you.
Yes, sir. To answer that question, it was brought to my attention that they were receiving a wage. I checked into it and discovered that from 2017 forward, there was never an enabling ordinance. They shouldn't have been getting that money. So I brought it to the county judge at that time and said, they can't do this. They need to pay that money back. I became the county attorney on December 13th of 2021. And as I told the judge, from my standpoint, now it's on my blocking, I have to draw a line in the sand. Because as I've told this court before, since I've been here, there's all kinds of stuff that I'm like, statute says you can't do that. And I've been a broken record. So I told the judge at the time, if you wish to go back outside this period and go back in time, you're going to need to grab an attorney, file a lawsuit, and recover that money. Because in one instance I looked at, it was like $12,000 that had been paid out without an enabling ordinance. That's not something I do as the county attorney. That's something that the county judge would have to pursue. The judge at that point in time told me that we're going to stick with the line in the sand that you've drawn. We're not going to go back, but from this point forward, we're going to make sure it gets paid back. That's exactly what the judge did. That was based upon my recommendation at the time because they didn't want to try to spend good money after bad because it would have been civil. And you might get a judgment, you might not, and it was just going to turn into a big mess. So rather than doing that, we stuck with that line in the sand, beginning with me coming on board as the county attorney. That's why it happened. So as it stands right now, the problem, as it was intimated to me from the previous elected commissioners up through current, is the reason they started getting paid the money was to transport the machines and all of that to the sites. And the election commissioners were doing it, not getting compensated for it. So it's my understanding that moving forward, something's going to have to be done to make sure that their compensation other than meetings needs to be taken care of, or the county needs to hire someone or do something to make sure that the elections proceed in an orderly fashion. And you're going to have people to transport, to drive, do all that. That's not my wheelhouse. That's in y'all's wheelhouse. Yes, sir.
It's not our warehouse. It's been just a mode of operation. Someone decided within the three groups, they get paid an hourly wage, they could set their salary. No one knew about it. I'm with you, but what I'm gonna start doing, if you have, how do you come up with an hourly rate that doesn't have an ordinance? And that's the first thing, you're either a commissioner or you're a poll worker. And the job of the coordinators or the commissioners are to organize the working group. And we get criticized for micromanaging. And when we do, we're finding errors now, but yet we want to get blamed. I heard about what happened the other day. It's uncalled for someone at this meeting to scream and holler at anybody, especially when it's been very quietly being done. And now it's come to roost. I'm saying right now, I'm like you, we should have went back and started as soon as it was dictated, take the money, and that's fair. And I'm also saying, in the future, if a elected official does something that doesn't comply with an ordinance, I want to correct it. If you hire an employee or you transfer them, you put them back to the way they were. They just become a mode of operation. And then to dump it on the Quorum court. It was embarrassing for him. If I'm gonna get hollered at, I want more money.
Yes, ma'am.
I am against this ordinance because of section D. And section D says, 22 Marion County Election Commission members want to be paid back for the money they got paid. Under our, what we were told was they should pay it back.
Exactly.
So why should we pay them? Because they were told to pay it back. So we can either take section D out of this ordinance or it's a no vote.
Yes, sir.
I'm against it because the first from the last paragraph on page 49, I just underlined some things. I try not to change the context, but these are two or three lines that it says that the Marion County Quorum Court in 22 refused to pay the Marion County Election Commissioners for the hundreds of extra hours they put into the 22 elections, that the county judge demanded the return of hourly funds paid out, and that the county judge further authorized withholding of any other pay until the county was repaid. Okay, and here's my problem with it. Regardless of what anybody thinks of me, I have tried always to be very transparent and confront people head on. And I've made mistakes, don't get me wrong. But this sounds like the person who wrote that hates the Quorum Court more than they like telling the truth. That is not how I remember that happening. And there's no way I'm voting for this.
Yes, Judge.
Something that we're going to stand out clear up. Again, I was chairman of the election commission in 2015 and 16. I was also an election commissioner in 2013 and 14. And during that time, in that 4-year period, every election, the poll workers showed up to get the equipment, take and set it up. That was their job. They got their mileage in for it, they got paid for it, that's what they do. Somewhere along the line, somebody said that they have to, the election commission has to split it up. Nobody switched it, that's not what it was. There's no reason why the different polling sites can't come pick up their own equipment. None.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
and they're talking about the state allows it, the state has set 4 fees for election commissioners. $25, $50, $75, and $100. That's their fee, fixed rate if they decide in their meetings and stuff like that. The Quorum Court can have an ordinance that say if an election commissioner is gonna do some work, but an election commissioner says, well, I'm gonna do the work and here's how much
I'm gonna be paid. I wanna know how much I'm gonna be paid. And it's been allowed to fester with no one knowing about it. That's what's scarier. And now we're in this mess because I'm with the other side. If we take it from one, I'm saying now, if you mess up on an ordinance with wages, you're gonna have to correct it, whatever it takes. But you're getting no more votes from me from this point on. I'm not supporting any of this. This behavior the other night is disgusting. Thank you, Dr. Judge.
Yes, sir.
Having worked as a commissioner of elections, the machines are heavy.
Yeah.
And we have to have the county truck that's got the lift on the back.
Yeah.
We can't just let anybody drive the county truck all over. I have delivered every machine, all the polling areas. That includes going all the way to Lazy Acres, going across, the ferry, and then having to go all the way around, up through Missouri and around, to Oakland, and spending a whole day doing that. I'm not saying we should vote this in, but I am saying if we need to come up with something to compensate for that, or we can't have a guy work all day long. I don't know.
I want to speak to Roland's point. We do, I think I can speak for the whole full board. We do the best that we can to take care of the county employees to the best of our abilities. We've made a lot of hard decisions, we've made some mistakes, of course, but if we fall short, we shouldn't be vilified for that. And this ordinance right here persecutes us. If you read this thing and you don't think that if one court member and the previous county judge had it out for somebody, that is exactly how this reads. We should be able to fall short without being vilified.
I'm not saying for this right here, I'm saying we should come up with something.
Oh, I agree.
I understand motion to call question. All right, yes, sir.
One more. I agree with him about the equipment saving. Prior election commissions had organized the staffing. You got a year, you got 4 years to have staffing, so you can have it. I'm not arguing the equipment is cumbersome and heavy to get it scheduled, but we're sitting here and we're letting the employees sit there raising their hours with no control. That is, and some people want to raise it, and they can't get it.
Yes, sir. I want to clarify, from 2017 through 2021, it's my understanding the way this came about is there was a pay set for the poll workers, and the previous election commissioners, when they began doing the work, they turned in an hourly rate, the same as the poll workers, with no enabling orders. So then what was brought to my attention, my job, I don't tell anybody what to do, I give legal advice. And the county judge properly followed my advice, and I gave him the advice that since there's no enabling ordinance, we cannot allow this to stand, it must be paid back. And I don't know how many times I had discussions with all the election commissioners, provided them copies of their job description from the AAC, had numerous meetings with them, suggested to them how to fix it, and was basically told by at least one commissioner, I'm not paying the money back. When I found out that he was owed money for meetings and such, I instructed the county judge, my legal advice is do an offset, which is legal. You owe us money, we're not gonna pay you, we're gonna offset it. The county judge, John Massey at the time, took my advice, we offset it, and we zeroed the books, and the other election commissioner paid the money back. As a result, once it was square, and the county judge said, some of this was basically outside my time, we're just gonna draw the line in the sand, I'm gonna follow your suggestion, we're gonna call it good, and go from there. He followed the advice, and we brought everything back legal where it should be. Now, it's gonna be up to, and it's gonna be a combination of the election commission, the actual Republican and Democrat parties, and the Quorum Court to decide how we're gonna fix this moving forward. Because if, as, Justice Hutchins said, we're gonna have to make arrangements for someone to do it, they need to get paid. And if it's a poll worker, we already have that set. If it's gonna be an election commissioner, then the only way the election commissioner can get paid is there's gonna have to be an ordinance that authorizes that's allowed. But without that ordinance, no election commissioner can be paid other than the meeting. So I look at this is a question that's gonna have to be fixed between the parties, the Quorum Court, and the election commission.
Yes, sir.
The ordinance itself in section B has some merit. Section C, a little less merit. I don't see a pay rate for poll workers in the individual.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to call the question. Make a motion to call question.
You're a second.
I'll second that. And, I'm still working on this.
Can I just clarify why I'm making the motion?
Correct.
I think at this point, we need to vote. We should discuss that at like procedural.
Right.
That's fine.
Well, that motion is.
Just, we're gonna proceed to vote, is all, it's on the question.
As it stands.
Well, who seconded that motion? I did. Thank you for calling. Justice White, did you call the motion?
The question.
Call question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Justice Reed? Justice Hutchins? Justice Chipman? Justice Grady? Justice Scrivner?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Moving on to the motion to adopt. Justice Reed?
No.
Justice Hutchins? Justice Shipman? Justice Grady? Justice Scrivner?
No.
Justice Nichols?
No.
Justice Van Kuren?
No.
Justice White?
No.
Motion carries.
Well, I don't want to get you confused with anybody. Not like.
Okay, this is ordinance 23-115, and this is reimbursing insurance postage from the people that have borrowed the postage machine, the federal office, court, clerk, Quorum Court, county collector, and the election commission. And we will all be reimbursed to the clerk and that's what we do the postage.
Motion.
Justice Shipman? Justice Grady? Yes. Justice Sherman?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchins? Ordinance 2023-116. This draft money received for state grant for the Oakland College Land Fire Protection District in the amount of $15,000. As the loan was received, it is long time to the $56 million.
Motion.
I'm sorry, you did that.
Me.
Thank you. Justice Brigham? Yes. Justice Sherman?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchins? Justice Shipman? Thank you.
What, number on the agenda are we on that now? After that? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to, we're in between 13 and 14, is that correct? Yeah, so,
Oh, I'm sorry, you go by different numbers.
I'm sorry. May I make a motion that we suspend the rules and reconsider the ordinance on the library on page 38? It died for lack of second.
Oh, is that for the clerk error?
Wow, I don't know what it's for, it's on page 38.
38 is for the, OE.
38 for OEM?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, where's that library one at? I have my bookmark, I must move my bookmark.
42.
It's 42, it was there. Helps if you read, instead of just looking at pictures. Yes, there's no pictures. I make a motion.
Okay, you've already made the motion to suspend the rules to reconsider the ordinance for the library.
But, wait a second.
I need that.
And I don't know, I probably had to order, but if you'll let me talk for just a second.
Go ahead,
The
sir.
reason I'm making the motion is because I don't want to wait another month to discuss it. I want to get it done tonight.
Do we have a second?
Oh, yeah, I don't think we can discuss the motion. I would, we maybe discuss it. That's what I want.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, motion to suspend the rules.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
All against? Okay, motion passed unanimously. Now you want to.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Hang on. There's a lot. Now you second.
I'll second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question. Um, So the reason that I didn't second it the first time is because this is, to no fault of anyone but my own. I've been very, very busy and I haven't attended the meetings. And it looks to me like, from the way that this ordinance is written, that we're taking money from county general, from their electricity and utilities line item, and transferring it into the library for their utilities and electric line items.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are. And that is because we are in a
Umbrella.
collective billing for all majority of our facilities. So with that being said, it was a clerical error. The line item for the library got put under maintenance's line item on that Excel spreadsheet, trying to keep that collective billing in order. So that it was completely a clerical error. It was just put under the wrong line item. I'll take fault on that. It was me. It was all me.
Yes, sir.
Number one, we don't like taking blame around here. Number two, so what happened was a bill for $1,099 for something was paid from the library. And the something that should have been paid from courthouse maintenance. So what was the something
It was the electricity bill. So
for the courthouse?
yeah, it was essentially flip flop for 2 months. The Excel field was swapped, and yeah, they essentially paid each other's funds. So that's the difference between what they actually owed, like what the courthouse actually owed, and what the library actually owed for those 2 months. This is the difference that would equal them out. They would be set. They'd be set in stone with this.
Okay, sir. Well, so that clarified that, but I'm angry because I heard a bunch of snickering and ooh and stuff back there, and that to me was so disrespectful. I want to say one more time, to everybody here, the Quorum Court are good people. We're good people. We're trying to do the right thing. We make mistakes. But going, oh my God, it is so disrespectful. Right now, I'm living over that. I don't like that, and I will never like that. We made a mistake, probably, okay, I think, that's my opinion, by not seconding this. But it looked to me like we were given money from courthouse maintenance. I don't know what it meant, okay, I wasn't at the meeting. We made mistakes, but the oohing and the ahhing, I promise you, I will vote no. I don't care how good the thing is, if I'm disrespected again like that. What? So, maybe that guy had a question. Maybe he had his hand up.
Sorry, I just had a question. We're
Go
going
go ahead, sir.
Sorry, thank you, Mom. Thank you, discount. That was about stickers. I think there's a lot of questions. I think a lot of people heard that exact same conversation from the other back already. I think that was the only concern tonight. Nothing new with possession tonight, nothing new was offered. It was the exact same information that was not.
I wasn't there for those two occasions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
a recommendation would be on an ordinance, the person submitting it, give us a brief discussion on the ordinance so we can figure out what's going on. And this way here, if we're all trying to do the right thing, but sometimes it's confusing. But if someone could explain as simply as that, we're gonna move on. So I would think in some meetings I've been to, if the initiator of the ordinance comes in and says, and they explain it. So if it's sure, it informed the audience and it would help us, because we're trying to interpret, just numbers on a piece of paper.
Watch nothing, see budget committee.
It says, yeah, sponsored. I don't know.
It was at the budget committee, yes.
Well, I just want, oh, I'm sorry, I just gonna double down. I don't care if it's been presented 5 times. If somebody oohs and ahs whenever I say something, I promise you I'm gonna retaliate. I'm sick of that. I am so sick of being disrespected up here.
Yes, sir.
I had asked in the, budget committee that this be rewritten, to make it clear, because, as it is on the face of it, and maybe historically later, it will look like we paid the electric bill.
Yeah.
But we didn't. So I would suggest that this ordinance be tabled and rewritten to be more specific than as to what it is.
Oh, this is the earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
Justice Reed, if you do recall, at that budget committee, we left and we rewrote those two ordinances you asked us to, and we represented it. Section 2 was added at that budget committee and represented to you at that meeting. It has already been rewritten and presented to you.
Motion to table to make the ordinance clearer.
Okay, so. And now we're voting for the motion to table. Okay, I don't know where I am in the roll call for the public talk. Justice Freeman, this is on the motion to table this ordinance for clear clarity.
Yes. I hope I'm voting right.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yep.
Justice White? Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hussey? Justice Shipman? Justice Brigham? Yes.
Yes, sir.
I just want to confirm this was not a motion of the committee. As the ordinance was.
I believe it was a motion for clarification, from before, and so it's.
Very, very poor.
I'm sorry, the vote passed, so I'm done with discussion on it. Thank you, sir. John?
Or might be?
Yes.
This is resolution number 2023-6. And unfortunately, this is a resolution declaring a vacancy in the office of the Marion County Justice and Peace District 9 for the state of Arkansas.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I can answer that. but-
No, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. We have to do the resolution first to declare the vacancy. From here on out, the party should now contact the governor's office, and the governor appoints the individual to replace Justice officer. And from there on, I mean, it's sometimes it's confidential.
So you're saying people have interest in doing stuff to
See, okay,
Republican committee?
well, that's what this is. No, grammar.
Yes, ma'am.
But you need to get with the party, the chairman of the party, in order to determine, I mean, for them to have their name.
I didn't know what party you meant, Republican Party, or if you meant an individual in the party.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, the Republican or the Democrat Party, in order for them to add their name to the list of people to be delivered to the governor. So, anyway, we need to vote on this.
Yes, sir.
I just want to speak for a second on it, about Justice McCullough.
Okay, that's something as well.
Okay, well, I just want to let everybody know, again, even though it may be falling on deaf ears, that we're all trying to do the right thing here. We're not being vindictive, but, Joyce especially was trying to do the right thing. And, you guys may or may not know this, may or may not care, but the JP talked quite a bit, and Joyce really was, I would say she was kind of like a grandma to me. I call her and talk a little trash, you know, get her fired up, and then tell her I had to get off the phone. And then call her back and send her pictures of the barn I was building. You know, I really love a lot of people up here. They mean a lot to me. And Joyce was one of those. I really love Joyce. She meant a lot to me. And she was obviously had some problems and stuff, but I really love Joyce and love some of the people that are up here still. I've said some of them, I mean, I love them all, but you know what I mean. Some I love a little more than others. But Miss Joyce McCullough was a very big-hearted woman, and it was hard to talk. It was hard for people to talk bad about her, and she struggled with a lot of these decisions. I struggled too. I just act tough, but Joyce was a really good lady, and I loved her, and I hate that she passed. That's all.
All in favor?
Yeah.
All opposed?
I'd like to piggyback on that and ask you all to join me in honoring Justice McCall and what she meant to her family, to this court, to the citizens of Marion County. Please stay with me and close your eyes and speak a moment of silence just to honor Joyce. I have one more announcement. October 23rd is the Marion County Keep Arkansas Beautiful Day. The Panther Student Body Community will have a cleanup day that day, so please, when you see the mountain ballot, slow down, give it a thumbs up, and tell them thanks for the opportunity for what they're doing for us on that day on October 23rd. Yes, ma'am.
As of today, the clerk's office has received running for public office. Anyone who wishes, I have a picture that I have 2 more boxes downstairs, so I have plenty. If anybody is interested, just stop by, pick up one, if you run out, let me know, and I'll get one for you. No problem. I'm gonna pick up.
And, Mrs. Kara Hurley, call.
My name is Catherine Lee, and I'm the county coordinator for the Marion County Call. The call through local churches to complete and support foster families. I spoke recently at Justice Reed's church, and I think he felt like that because it pertains to children in our county, that it is important for all of you to know. Right now, Marion County, we really need foster families. We currently, as of today, have 18 kids from Marion County in foster care. Only 6 of those kids are in foster homes in our county. That's because we do not have foster homes with the open space to care for our own kids. DHS works to keep them as local as possible so that they can have visits with their biological families to try to promote restoration. So a lot of those kids are in Baxter or Boone, so they're close. But because we didn't have homes, that means they're taken out of their schools, their familiar settings. So we really need families in Marion County to step forward and welcome these kids into their homes. So I really appreciate Justice Reed asking me to speak, and I just want to encourage all of you as people of influence in our county that as you go about your work and as you're having conversations with people, use that influence to encourage people to consider fostering because our kids in our county really do need it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm Linda McHugh, and I'm from Oakland, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the court for everything that you have done for OAI, and that's our Area Improvement Association. We've really climbed long, grown complaints. You have all been very considerate, and the help that has been provided through the court, we can't thank you enough. We did receive ARPA funds that helped us with paper, Claudia helped us listen to us and understood what we were trying to do. We are so grateful for that. And a final prayer to you. She is passionate, smart, but was really with the right questions too. And it was just a pleasure dealing with her and she was us. But I want you to know that Oakland appreciates it. So
No, yes, sir.
For those of you that don't know, I will not be running for re-election.
Oh, shoot. I was just elated. I'm sorry, Mark.
Well, it's been challenging, and we do take our work very seriously, try to help the county. And I decided that if I were re-elected, I would be 85, and it's time to hang it up. So I made a public announcement today, and I moved to our people to run for the position. And I know some women just have to go to their meetings and pick out who you think would best serve your. So I want to thank you guys for it's been very good. We have different views, but we still talk and have a cup of coffee.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm Alicia Owen, I'm the First County Marion County Voters Club, and I would like to invite everyone to come to our party. Partying on Delvin Square for 77th and there will be a partial eclipse between 10:30 and 1:30 on Saturday. And we have a ton of vendors coming, all our stations are full. We have a full schedule of entertainment starting Friday at 12, till Saturday at 7. So please come out, join us, eat, drink, and happen.
Cool things look like, right?
I would say, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I just want to let everybody know, since that Mike brought it up, I'm not running for reelection either. I like that, I like you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
William Wood with Marion County Church and Rescue. Number one, I want to thank you for the whole team. I do have a question. So, we order this stuff, we bill it back to the county is that correct?
Yes, if you order something, you bring us the receipts, everything, we can reimburse you. If you need us to send a check directly to that person or company, whatever, we can do that. If you got questions, just call me.
I do want to add that in case you understand where every penny we raise at certain stays right on that. We have in the last 3 years, about $27,000. We've given $30,000 to a donation grant. We did over several hundred thousand dollars to the project. So we thank our sponsors.
Motion.
All right, do I have a second? Meeting adjourned.